Hi, I'm Jesse Hilbert.
Hi, I'm Charlie Herbert.
And welcome
to Arnavon
Adventures.
Season 4, Episode 10, The Crustacean Fork.
No, not fork.
Knife.
Oh, the Crustacean Knife. Now, today's arthropod can be found along many East Coast places, especially where
East Coast is like up north.
Well, we are on the East Coast, but then so is down south more too. And this creature is found where fresh water meets salt water, that brackish marsh zone. Their common name shares something familiar with what you might have growing in your front yard. Can
you guess what it is?
Today's episode brings us to the world of the dagger blade grass shrimp. Isn't that the coolest name you've ever heard? No, it's not. I disagree. Dagger blade grass shrimp. Now, upon hearing it, you would think like this was some monstrous, crazy shrimp, right? But it's not.
Just be surreal.
Yeah. Now, Charlie, this is the first shrimp we have ever done on the podcast. We've never talked about it before.
Shrimp I eat.
We do it sometimes.
I don't really like it.
You don't.
Yeah.
Now, most people, I shouldn't say so, many people don't even realize, Char, that shrimp are arthropods, that they're related to...
Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that. Now you know, right? They're in the crustaceans. And they fall under the phylum Arthropoda and are in the subphylum Crustacea. They are in this subphylum with so many other wonderful creatures. Other crustaceans are isopods, lobsters, and crabs. We've talked about a few of those. Now,
I remember eating a lobster at Juju's when we had...
Yeah, we had a lobster, yeah.
I didn't like the outside. I don't know.
And you see lobsters when we go to the grocery store. Yeah.
Yeah, Jude just loves them. And he was like, can I go see it? I'm like, looking at them, and there's barely any left, and I could go there.
Now, there's one thing we could say about shrimp. Are you ready? This is kind of funny, but also kind of cheesy. Shrimp are great because they're shrimply the best.
Did you just write that on there?
I did. It's in my show notes. Shrimply the best. It's kind of like simply the best, but shrimply. I know. So, the scientific name is Palemonites pugio. Metis has a wonderful...
Sounds like Spanish.
It's actually Greek. It actually has a very interesting origin, Char. You ready for this one? It refers to a young sea god by the name Palemon, and according to Greek mythology, he was once a human child whose family upset the queen of the gods, Hera, and she in turn made her family go crazy, specifically her dad, and in response, in at least some of the stories, their mother takes them and they jump off a cliff and into the sea. Now, in an act of pity, the gods transform them into gods and goddesses, and specifically of the sea. And according to an article on theoi.com about this Greek god, in art he is, and I quote, depicted in Greco-Roman mosaics as either a dolphin-riding boy or a fish-tailed child Triton. End quote. He is the guardian of sailors. And the species name Pugio comes from a dagger or a knife that Roman soldiers carried at their sides. This detail is attached to their rostrum, which we will talk about shortly.
These are not the type of shrimp that you will find yourself either
eating
at the fancy dinner, or
our featured
shrimp is much smaller, reaching only in
inch and a half in length. So that's pretty small.
As with most grass shrimp, they are just about
Clear.
or see through.
Good job. Although, I did read that they kind of have a yellowish tint to them, and even some brown spots speckled in for good measure. Now, their carapace, which is the hard outer covering on their cephalothorax, is smooth. This body part houses most of their important organs like their heart and brains. It is also where you will find their eyes, antennas, and their legs. So let's talk about that. The shrimp has 3 pairs of legs. Did you want to go?
The shrimp has 3 pairs of legs. The first 2 have claws, white,
While
the last part
pair
does not.
According
To
multiple sources. Second,
maybe
you skipped the whole line. It's the second pair of legs that is the strongest. And now, maybe the most iconic structure, like we say that a lot on this podcast, the word iconic, structure on their entire body, Charlie, is the rostrum. You want to say rostrum?
Rostrum.
You sleepy? What happens when we stay up past your bedtime?
No, that was the shrine.
Now, this rostrum is a horn-shaped structure coming right out of their head, right between the eyes. It is a portion of their body that gives this species the name Pugio that we talked about, or Pugio. Maybe it's Pugio, I don't know. But it kind of resembles a dagger-like blade. We talked about this earlier. It was that Roman dagger. And in an article by the Texas Park and Wildlife, written by Branda Bowling, it states, and I quote, upper rostrum with 7 to 10 teeth, usually 8 to 9, of which 1 is behind the orbit margin, 2 to 4 teeth on the lower margin of the rostrum, lower teeth at a distance from tip to rostrum, leaving small dagger-like appearances, end quote. This gives a pretty good description of the jaggedness of the rostrum. It's hard to see this up close on the shrimp without, some really close magnifying glass or such, due to the size of this crustacean. But I promise you, it does kind of resemble the teeth that you might find on like a saw. Not what I think about when I think about a dagger personally, but to each their own. Now, do you want to go?
They do have
kind
of any images.
Immediately recognizable abdomen. Mainly
because this is the part of the
shrimp.
You see the most.
Right, so this is the part that people usually eat. It's like that little tail piece. And even though this is a smaller version of the shrimp char, it still kind of looks the same. Yeah. And you're pinching that tail off before you eat it, and that tail is really good at helping the shrimp. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, we could talk about the whole ethicalness behind eating shrimp, because there is a lot of bycatch that can happen and does happen if you're not careful about where you buy your shrimp from. Now, their abdomen is divided into segments, with the first and third segments overlapping, which means they go across each other. Char. Also on their abdomen, you will find pleopods, say that word, which help the shrimp while swimming. It's honestly kind of mesmerizing to watch. It's like watching the legs on a millipede. We call this motion a metachronal wave. It's very relaxing, Char. Yeah, I could watch this for hours. Put that phrase into Google, metachronal wave, if you ever just want to go down a little rabbit hole and enjoy the videos that follow. At the end of the abdomen, you will find their tail. The tail can be used to help them go backwards if they need to.
Water,
Water,
tame,
temperature,
and reptile
reproduction.
reproduction
Appears
to be
linked
together with
this
occurring
occurring
when the water is warm.
Yeah. So, according to the Animal Diversity web article by Lee Gerasi, and I quote, females bearing eggs have been demonstrated to be in much greater supply at 30 degrees Celsius and above, end quote. Now, if you're like me and you're not familiar with Celsius conversion, that would be about 86 degrees Fahrenheit, if I did my math correctly, which is pretty warm water in my opinion. The females are also producing a lot of eggs. Larger females.
100.
Yeah, that's a lot. And these can also come in batches, with new eggs being laid after the first batch has hatched. Interestingly, you want to go?
Yeah.
No?
Female will
mate
after she
molts.
Quilt.
Oh, here, I'll quote this because it's from the same article. Quote, mating occurs within 7 hours of the molt, end quote. And this is from that wonderful Animal Diversity's web article. We have used them constantly on this podcast. And once she is ready, the male and female will make contact and he will deposit a spermatophore that will deliver his genetic material. And she will keep this in, and then we'll have the babies. And she will keep this inside of her until her eggs are ready to be fertilized. The female will carry her eggs until they are ready to hatch. Her babies will mature around 2 months old. Their lifespan is not that long, upwards of about 13 months or so. Throughout their lives, they appear to be pretty opportunistic eaters, ranging from algae to other smaller invertebrates. And they are in turn eaten by many other animals that also call the estuaries home. Now, they play a pretty important role within your ecosystem, Charlie. Even such a small thing. It says that they were an indicator species, meaning that they will show you how clean or not so clean their habitat is. We saw this with the stonefly episode. Stoneflies do the same thing for the rivers where they are found. Yeah. Now, they are part of... It is wow. Now, they are part of the decomposers and of where they live, breaking down the organic materials that they are eating and letting their feces out, which aid their habitat. So, they may be small, but they are mighty.
I think I know how to spell that. D-G-E-E.
So, the next time you find yourself down where a river meets the sea, a good estuary, grab a net, scoop up some water, and see what you could find.
A strip.
You might be lucky enough to find our dagger blade grass shrimp. Wow. Anything else, Char? We hope you enjoyed today's episode, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
If you have an arthropod you would love to hear about, want to tell us what you think about the show, or found one of our mistakes, send us an email at arthropodadventurespodcast@gmail.com. And you can find us on Instagram at arthropod_adventures_podcast and follow us there. And thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Never stop learning. Show your show notes and never stop learning.
Stay inquisitive.
And never stop learning.
And always check out the show notes you're ready.